Afternoon, guys. Just another quick one. I'm not sure if you guys want to have shorter videos or longer videos. If you've got an opinion about it, chuck it in the comments down below. Sort of looking at the statistics, it seems like when I waffle on a little bit, I tend to lose people. So I'm going to try shortening these videos up a little bit. The conversations we've been having in the comments have been fucking excellent. There's been so many people sharing positive information about their own solar systems, about the kind of video content that we should make, and we really appreciate it. So keep hitting that button. We'll keep on making content. Anyway, onto the video. Yeah, guys. I'm doing my. I'm just grabbing the data for the solar panel comparison, and while I was doing it, I kind of realised that I've doubled up on some stuff. Right, we've got a fair bit of IT equipment here. I run things like Node-RED and some other stuff on like a Synology NAS, and we've got a couple of computers that we have lying around the house that we do, various things with. What occurred to me though is these things can do it, right? Like at least there's two versions of firmware you can get for these. So the firmware that most of them are running like out of the box is just the general ordinary image, right? But there is an option, so if we hit firmware, there is an option to change it from like the standard image to the large image. And when you get the image type, so there under image type, you can switch it to large. And the larger image actually has, oh, we got an update we can do. Let's press to check. The larger image has some additional stuff that it can do, right? One of them is it can run Node-RED directly on the device itself. So like the danger of having Node-RED running on something else and you integrate, you use it to integrate other hardware into your off-grid system, is that if that piece of hardware goes down, or let's say it doesn't update, right? Ours runs on our Synology NAS. If we do an update on the Synology NAS, it's going to bump Node-RED off, and Node-RED might be doing something critical for our off-grid equipment. So to avoid that, anything that's related to the power control stuff in our house, we've isolated it all off now, right? It's I've shown this on another video that we have all of our critical equipment all isolated in its own little VLAN. It's got a firewall, nothing can get in and out. Like it's very, very strict rules around it. But then I realised that, hey, actually if I'm running Node-RED outside of that space in my other VLAN, which is where I put all my virtual machines, like I'm equally in danger anyway, because if something happens to that, then our power system breaks down. So what I'm going to do today is, that's installing the larger image now. I'm going to go through the process of installing Node-RED directly on the servo controller. And then I'm going to set up the influx DB that I'm going to use to capture the data in from the solar panels. We'll still have to live somewhere else. But I can put the critical stuff, like the decision making, directly on the servo controller. So we're not going to be doing any decision making, except for I've got to move the fan control. So in a previous video, I've installed fans behind these MPPTs because they're way too close to these boxes. It's against the install guidelines to have them this close. So there's actually DC fans behind these. So I've got to put the decision making back in, that when these things are at a certain temperature, that the fan comes on and it sucks cool air through the back of it. So I'm going to re-implement that as well, but do it on the servo controller this time, not on our Synology NAS. So I'm going to let that finish installing. It's going to want to reboot, and then I will cut back and I'll go through the Node-RED setup. We'll start with the fan configuration, and then we'll do then we'll capture the data for the solar panel performance. I know you can do it in VRM. That's awesome, but like doing it offline, like without the internet, like it's I just feel like there's some safety in having it on premise here with us rather than having it in the cloud. It's probably, maybe it's just some of my IT paranoia, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to rip into that now. So it looks like I made a bit of a boo-boo when I recorded this the first time. I did it from my Surface Pro tablet while I was actually standing out the back, and it didn't capture me switching Node-RED on. So the device, I run the standard GUI on the physical device, but I use the version 2 GUI when I connect to it. I'm not sure why, but the version 1 GUI is not available anymore. I don't mind, it doesn't really change anything. But when you jump back in, everything looks identical, except you end up with this one extra tab. And this is the Venus OS large features. So I'm not using Signal K. That from memory, that's got something to do with boats. Like you could have some integration with boat equipment. But yeah, this is the one I'm most interested in, which is Node Red. So there it is there. You can enable it in safe mode, so if it doesn't want to boot, like, you know, because you've installed an add-on, maybe the add-on's not, you know, isn't as compatible as it should be, you can enable it in safe mode, you can disable it, or you can enable it. When you log in, the username and password is admin, and then whatever password you've set on your user interface for the Victron. Some people don't have that set. Like on the new firmwares, I noticed you've got 3 levels of potential safety. You've got like unsafe, mediocre safe, and then really safe. So we're on the medium setting, and you just use admin and whatever the password is, and you'll be met with this interface. Obviously, you don't normally have a flow here, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but my Surface Pro simply didn't record. Well, it actually recorded just one little corner for some reason. I don't know if there was like a resolution issue there, but anyway, it is what it is. It's fairly straightforward. Just go and find this tab. When you find it, you click to enable it, and you're off and racing. Alrighty, so after some mucking around, I've got it working. So what we're going to do is, I don't think from memory there's a temperature probe that we can use on the actual MPPT itself. So what we need is relay control, and then I suppose we don't really need one or the other on the charge controllers. We just need either one, right? If either one of them is producing power, we will enable a relay. So it is on, is it Venus relay state 1? Closed, yeah, cool. I think it's power. That'll do. Chuck in a function. That goes to there. That goes to there, and we go, actually what I'm going to do is I'll output it to a debug so we can see what that looks like. Alright, oh, I'm getting a solid number. Handy, 243. Is that all? Is the battery charged maybe? Let's have a look, eh? Maybe it's surprised. Oh, yeah, shit. Battery's charged. Okay. So what we're going to do is go if message.payload is greater than, what do we call it, 500. So in other words, we've got power coming in. We'll go message dot, no, hang on a minute, message equals payload 1. Can't remember if that's correct or not. I think it's right. I haven't done this in a while. Else, we turn it off. That's fairly straightforward. So if we're producing 500 watts or greater than 500 watts, we will turn the payload, we'll turn the relay on, otherwise we'll turn the relay off. And that will run the fans. So let's get rid of that, put that to there. Cool, that's good. I'm going to drop that down to 100 and see if the logic changes. Perfect. So that will turn that'll turn the fans on the back of the MPPTs on and off. That simple. It's actually not that complex at all. So the large 250 is actually, you know what we really need to do? Maybe we should take that from the 150, because this is the one that most likely is to get power first in the mornings. That's probably going to bounce up and down. How else could we do this? We could use a global variable and hold the last 5 measurements in there and average it and see what the average is. If the average is greater than 0.5, like 0 or 1, and you got 3 1s and 2 zeros, what would the average turn out to be? If we said that if the average was greater than 0.5, we would have it on, otherwise we won't have it on. That's overcomplicating, I think. Let's just run it off the one in the morning that sees the most sun early, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to run out the back. I'll grab my camera and I'll run out the back, and we'll have a look at. I'll have to put a load on. I could put the spar on, and the spar will put enough load on there that we will see the MPPT start back up, and then we should be able to determine if the fan starts moving or not. Okay, so relay 1, it used to be in relay 2, but we've moved it to relay 1. It's got power up here, so as soon as I put some load on, the problem is that we can't actually see the fans because the fans are behind these MPPTs. Can we get down low enough to see them? We can't. I'm just going to have to, let's put some load on, see what happens. Yeah, I know. The fucking Mark III adapter upgrade requires that we, there we go. So did that turn on? I don't think that's turned on yet. Let's jump back to the computer and have a look and see what we're seeing. Yeah, that's perfect. So we're getting 1, which means the relay's been turned on. Can we look at? Oh, sounds like the bore pump just turned off. The spar just killed itself. Sorry. Let's have a look. Relay. Alarm. Ooh, that's not supposed to be as an alarm, is it? It's supposed to just be as a manual. That's getting set to on. Don't set initial value. We will always have it open as an initial value. Debug is on. So, does that reflect? Yeah, there it goes. It's on. Perfect. Happy days. All right. Excellent. Okay, so node red's working. The fan relay is now working on, automatically switching the fans on whenever there is power being produced. So it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold or whatever. We'll just run the fans. It's not a big deal. But it's working enough now that I'll be able to get on with what I was trying to do, which is record the statistics out of the chargers and the Fronius inverters. So I'm going to do that next. So I'll try and shorten these videos up. I find that they're quite long, and I don't know if everybody wants to listen to me yabbering on the entire time. But yeah, so I'll start splitting these up into slightly shorter videos. So the next one I'm going to do is going to be the recording the statistics into an influx database, and then I'll be able to graph them out to show whether or not they're performing where we expect them to be, or if they've, if their performance is less than 80%, then I'll probably start considering getting rid of them. But I want to be able to show that within reason. I can project like an expected power output. Like if I say that it's a 1700 watt array, I can project that into into the influx database at the same time. So when we get a reading, it says like, hey, it's producing 900 watts. The expected total is 1700. If we choose the part of the day where the production is at its peak, then we can determine whether or not they're heavily degraded or they're not heavily degraded. So I'm going to work on that next. So I'll stop this one where I am and leave it at that, and happy days. Alright, so that should have immediately turned on the, see that smoke going in there? Can't see any other way to see the fan going. No, that's not really working either, is it? Yeah, it's sucking it in. Not as much as I would like. It'd be a lot better if it was bigger fans, I think. So that is working exactly as we expect it to. Awesome. So yeah, I realise that probably looks just a little bit ad hoc. But yeah, there's two 120mm fans behind there. And they're keeping the MPPTs cool. There's not one behind this one or that one. Only these two big ones. These two big ones get really close to their limit and they get fairly hot. So just trying to make that, yeah, that's working a treat. Cool. Excellent. Alright, so I'll get on with the other stuff now. That should turn off. Should have already turned off, has it? Yeah, it has. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that smoke or not, but I can. Good stuff. It's coming back on, so now we should see it again. Can you see that smoke? Yeah, that's working. I'll check this video while I'm editing it, see if you can actually see that smoke or not. I can see it in person. So that relay's clicking up and down fairly regularly now. Like that's turned off again now. I need to put bigger loads on to keep everything sort of loaded up, but fan's working. I'm happy with that. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.